Yo, what is going on, NFL fans? I'm super excited to be here today to talk to you about the NFL draft. I'm going to do a mock draft, just one round for every single team if I was the GM of each and every one of these teams. I've watched hundreds of hours of tape, and I want to show you guys what I would do as a GM, talking about whether or not I like certain players, I don't like certain players, and give you my actual opinion on what each team should do. And if I was the GM of each and every one of these teams, what picks would I make? I'm going to make some surprise picks. A little bit about myself. I'm a former Bleacher Report journalist. I was a feature columnist over there, and now I'm on the magical world of YouTube, bringing you guys all kinds of NFL content. Let's get into it. All right, NFL fans, let's kick off this 2024 mock draft. I'm in line with consensus on Caleb Williams. I think he's the best quarterback in the draft. I think he's the quarterback with the least amount of flaws. And the Bears have a desperate need at the quarterback position. So it makes too much sense. Caleb Williams, I think he's head and shoulders above the rest of the guys. So Caleb Williams is going to the Bears. All right, Washington's up. A lot of people, it's between Drake May and Jaden Daniels. The more tape I watch on Drake May, I watched this pro day, and the dude just misses a lot of throws. He's extremely inaccurate. And that concerns me. And he also regressed a lot. 91 grade. He got a 90 grade, but look at the numbers. 4,300 yards, 3,600 yards. He threw more picks. He threw 13 less touchdowns. I want to see quarterbacks getting better, not worse. Jaden Daniels is on the opposite side of that spectrum. I like the way he fits with Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn in Washington. I like his weapons there. Jaden Daniels is going to Washington. The Patriots have a new head coach. If I'm the Patriots, I'm trading out of this pick. 100%. I think trading with a team like the Vikings makes perfect sense. 11, 23 for 3, and probably a first rounder next year. That's really what it's going to take for this exercise. We're just going to get 11 and 23 for the Patriots. We're going to force this trade just to do it. And now the Vikings are on the board. The Vikings are going to pick a quarterback. Is it J.J. McCarthy or is it Drake May? Honestly, guys, I'm going with J.J. McCarthy. I think he has the potential to be a better quarterback than Drake May. Call me crazy, call me insane, but if you watch Drake May's tape, he misses a lot of easy throws. Airmailing balls, not even close throws, like gimme plays. Wide open, there's not a guy within 3 or 4 yards of his wide receiver, and he just flat out misses it. I'm going J.J. McCarthy to the Minnesota Vikings. And that leaves the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be another pick that's going to piss a lot of people off. But Malik Nabers is better than Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a better catcher of the football. He's better with the football in his hand. He's a better route runner. He's a dirtier, nastier, more violent player who wants to block and break tackles. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. He reminds me a lot of a guy like Larry Fitzgerald. You can't go wrong with any one of these guys. But if the Arizona Cardinals were like, hey, Jay, who are you taking in this draft? I'm taking Malik Nabers. 100% of the time. Now, this leaves the LA Chargers in quite the quandary. Harbaugh loves his offensive line and defensive line. But he has no weapons for Justin Herbert at all whatsoever. So are you taking Joe Alt or are you taking Marvin Harrison Jr.? Oh, man, that's tough. That's a really, really tough decision. But I think Harbaugh is going to go Joe Alt. But I want to give Herbert a chance, man. He needs a chance to have some weapons. His wide receivers now are complete and utter trash. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to the Chargers. Okay, now the Giants are on the clock. From what I'm hearing around the league, everyone that's in the know, I'm not in the know. I'm not talking to NFL owners. But the guys that are talking to NFL owners are saying that the Giants are done with Daniel Jones. So, the Patriots are potential suitors with the Giants as well to go and trade 3 for 6, swap those picks, and also throw in Daniel Jones and not have to give up any more picks. that's a very interesting move that could very well happen if the Giants are indeed done with Daniel Jones. Or, the way the board has fallen, do they take Drake May? And it wouldn't be a bad idea for Drake May, being only 21 years of age, to sit for a year, like Jordan Love, behind Aaron Rodgers, for Drake May to sit behind Daniel Jones. And if Daniel Jones is awesome, his trade value goes up. If he sucks, you play Drake May. Drake May's going to the Giants. And the Titans are super stoked because they need offensive line help. Will Levis got destroyed last year. Their offensive line was complete trash. Joe Alt's going to the Titans. This is where the Falcons, what do we do here? Do we go one of the big offensive weapons, Rome Odunze, Brock Bowers? Do we go interior defensive line, which is on Newton? I think Newton falls in this draft a little bit. Or do you go edge, Laiatu Latu? You could go edge. Jared Verse is there. Dallas Turner. From watching the tape on all these edge defenders, I think Laiatu Latu and Dallas Turner are 1A and 1B, and a close second is Jared Verse. Either one of these guys on your team, they're going to make an impact, 100%. But to me, the injury concerns for Laiatu Latu, as a GM, you need to mitigate risk a little bit. So that's why I'm going to pass on Laiatu Latu, even though I think he's the best edge defender in the draft, bar none. I think he is. Talent-wise, it's not even close. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating a little bit because Dallas Turner is very, very good. I'm going Dallas Turner to the Falcons only because you got to mitigate some risk. You're picking as high as 8, and with that current roster, they're not going to be picking this high with that offense probably for a long time. Dallas Turner, the edge defender, is going to the Falcons. This makes the selection for the Bears that much easier. You could go D-line. They have an okay defense. They need help on defense, but we can address that later. Rome Odunze, he's a generational talent. These top 3 wide receivers, if it wasn't for all 3 of them being in this draft, would all be the first wide receiver off the board in pretty much every draft over the last 20 years. Rome Odunze, you can't pass up on giving Caleb Williams that kind of weapon for years to come. Who knows? Keenan Allen could wrap it up after next year. And then it's only DJ Moore. You need another weapon. Rome Odunze goes to the Bears. The Jets. I think the Jets adding those 2 offensive linemen, Tyron Smith from the Cowboys and the right tackle, Moses. They're in win now mode with Aaron Rodgers. Bring in Brock Bowers. To me, Brock Bowers on my big board, he's number 1. He's above Caleb Williams. He is a generational talent, mark my words. Come back to this video in 5 years from now and be like, JL Day, you knocked it out of the park. Because Brock Bowers, if he goes to the Jets, he might be an all-pro tight end for the Jets. And he'll probably score 10 touchdowns, over 750 yards. Book it. Brock Bowers goes to the Jets. Okay, now, the Patriots are up. They're going to pick a quarterback, guys. They're going to pick a quarterback. Is it Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. or Spencer Rattler's moving up people's boards? Or do you do something different and hope one of these 3 guys, hopefully one of these 2 guys, to me I think Bo Nix and Michael Penix are above the next round of quarterbacks. And do you add some defense? Do you go Quinyon Mitchell? Do you go Latu Latu? I think a lot of Patriots fans are going to lose their mind. Or do you go Fuaga? Ooh, man. Fuaga's a beast, man. He really is. I'm protecting whoever the quarterback is going to be. I'm getting one of these top-tier offensive linemen. Tyrese Fuaga is going to the Patriots. All right, the Broncos are up. They need a quarterback, but they need a lot of help a lot of other places. Do they go quarterback? Do they go a guy like, do they stretch this pick for a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix Jr.? I don't know if they do that, guys. I don't know if they're going to stretch it. You have Quinyon Mitchell, the best cornerback in the draft by far on the board still. You have Laiatu Latu, an absolute beast. But they do need a quarterback. Sean Payton likes accuracy. And maybe Bo Nix is that guy. I'm going Bo Nix. I think he's being slept on a little bit in this draft, guys. I don't care what college team you play for. Adjusted completion percentage, 85%? That doesn't even make any sense. That makes no sense. Oregon plays in a really good conference in college, man. He's not playing a bunch of turd burglar teams. Look at all these 90 grades. Bo Nix is going to the Broncos. All right, the Saints are on the board at number 14, and I want to give Derek Carr some protection. Troy Fautanu is one of the best tackles. A lot of people think he's going to go play guard, but I like his size at tackle, 6'4", 317. He's one of the best athletes in this class at this position. He can play any one of the positions on the offensive line. He's just a beast, man. He wants to hurt people, and I like players that want to hurt people. Troy Fautanu is going to the Saints. The Colts are on the board right now, and they need defensive back help. They could go corner. They could go safety. But let's give him a hybrid of both of those positions. Cooper DeJean, I'm not sure if he's going to play outside corner in the NFL. Cooper DeJean broke his leg. He couldn't participate in the combine. I did hear that he's having a pro day in a couple weeks, though. So that could move him up boards if he runs like a 4.45 or under 4.5. But I like Cooper DeJean. You can play him at either one of the safety positions. You can bring him down to play the slot, and you can play him at corner too. Maybe not number one outside corner, but I like Cooper DeJean to the Colts. All right, the Seattle Seahawks are on the board, everyone. But Jared Verse, the edge defender, makes too much sense. There's some offensive line depth in this draft, especially at center and guard. I think the Seahawks can load up on those positions later in the draft, but Jared Verse is not slipping much farther in this draft. Jared Verse from Florida State is going to the Seattle Seahawks. All right, the Jaguars are on the clock at 17. They need cornerback help. They need wide receiver help. There's a lot of depth at wide receiver, so I'm going cornerback here. I want to bring in Terry and Arnold. Probably him and Kool-Aid are super close. Terry and Arnold probably a little bit better, a smidge better. I'm going Terry and Arnold, the cornerback from Alabama, is going to the Jaguars. All right, the Bengals are on the board. They need to protect Joe Burrow. Olu Fashanu and J.C. Latham are both absolute beasts. Absolute beasts. I like J.C. Latham a little bit better than Fashanu. I've been watching the tape. He's big, he's strong, he's nasty. 81 grade this year, 6'6", 335 pounds. The dude is a savage, an absolute beast. Maybe a generational talent at the tackle position. J.C. Latham is going to the Bengals. Joe Burrow is going to be super happy about this pick. You're welcome, Joe. All right, the Rams are on the board right now. To me, I can go Laiatu Lato or Byron Murphy II. But the interior linemen for the Rams played pretty good, even though Aaron Donald retired. Oh, man, do I go Laiatu Lato? I'm going Byron Murphy. I just think that they need to address that position. Losing Aaron Donald is a big deal, man. Byron Murphy II. I like him better than Newton. Newton's a little small. Murphy, his slide ends at 19. He's going to the Rams. On the clock is the Steelers. They could go a million different places. I want to bring in a wide receiver, man. I really, really do for this team. But they need help everywhere. Tackle, center, cornerback. I thought about wide receiver for a second, but with Olu Fashanu still on the board at 20, let's protect Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, whoever the quarterback is. Add an Olu to this room. He's a day one starter for the Steelers. Sign me up, Pittsburgh. All right, the Dolphins are on the clock. Their defense got absolutely decimated in free agency. The Dolphins are going to struggle next year. If they win 8 or 9 games next year, I'll be surprised. But adding a guy like Laiatu Latu to this defense gives them some juice. Laiatu is a stud, man. He's going to have a great year next year. I'm jealous. The Dolphins are taking Laiatu Latu. This is great news for the Eagles. Nate Wiggins, he ran like a 4.3, 340 at the combine. He's got great speed. He needs to add a little bit of size. But if I'm looking at the rest of the board, there's nobody I love. Everyone else is a stretch. Nate Wiggins, the cornerback, It says he's 185 on the PFF thing. He's not 185. That's ridiculous. He is only 21, though, so 6'2". He's around 170 pounds, not 185 PFF, you bullshitters. But he'll put on some size as he gets a little bit older, I think, at least. And at 6'2", he comes in at 190, 195. He's a true number one outside corner with that speed, 100%. All right, now the Patriots get another pick. Is there a quarterback on the board now? Michael Penix Jr. is there. Penix Jr. is going to the Patriots. Best case scenario for the New England Patriots. The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. Mims has been mocked to the Cowboys a million times. I love Mims. The more I watch his tape, the more I like him. All these tackles are so young. 21, 6'7", 340 pounds. Where the hell are they growing these men at? Good Lord. 6'7", 340 pounds. He's going to the Cowboys. Faux show. All right. The Packers are up. Pick 25. They need cornerback help. A lot of cornerback help. Kool-Aid McKinstry is the dude that's left. There's some other guys that I like. I don't love. TJ Tampa, I like him. He's big. He's nasty. I do love myself some TJ Tampa. I think he's a second-round pick, though. Kool-Aid McKinstry. He ran like a 4.46 with a broken toe. He's got good speed. People were concerned about his speed. He ran a 4.46 with a broken foot. Packers are taking Kool-Aid. All right, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock. They need help everywhere on that defense, in my opinion. Does Drazon Newton's slide fall? No, not quite yet. Not quite yet. For me, people are like, don't ever draft linebackers in the first round. Well, some of the best defenses in the history of the world, the Bears. Who was that linebacker? Brian Urlacher. The Baltimore Ravens. Who is that linebacker? Oh, Ray Lewis. If you want to have an elite defense, you need to have elite linebackers. I don't care what these GMs say. Peyton Wilson is going to the Buccaneers. Levante David's getting older. Wilson's going to the Bucs. All right, the Arizona Cardinals have another first-round pick. They got their wide receiver. Who do I like more? I want some offensive line help. Do I like Jackson Powers-Johnson or Graham Barton? Graham Barton is not going to be a tackle at the NFL level. He's sliding inside, for sure. 6'5", 314. I watched the tape on Jackson Powers-Johnson. I didn't love it. His grades look awesome. But the tape, he's like a little stiff. He's like a little robotic. 6'3", 320. Graham Barton, 6'5", 314. I just like Barton better. I've watched a ton of offensive line tape lately, and I like the flexibility for Barton. He can play tackle. He can play guard. He can even play center. Graham Barton is going to the Cardinals. All right, everyone. The Buffalo Bills are on the board. They just got rid of Stephon Diggs. I think good riddance. To me, Stephon Diggs is the James Harden of the NFL. He's always bitching and complaining. Just stop. Grow a pair, dude. Shut your mouth. And wherever you go, you don't win. Stop blaming everyone else. Be better. Be a better human. I think he's going to be a disaster with the Texans. Mark my words. Brian Thomas Jr., a lot of people love him. He's got 4.4 speed, and he's a monster, an absolute beast. 6'4", 205, 4.4 speed, 4.3 speed. Yo, Brian Thomas Jr. to Josh Allen. I love that. All right, here we go. The Detroit Lions are picking at 29. To me, they lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson to the Eagles. That secondary was so trash in the playoffs, all regular season. Let's bring in the best safety in college football. Tyler Nubin is going to the Lions. All right, now the Ravens are picking at pick 30. Do we go offensive line? Tyler Guyton is more of a project. He's got all the physical tools to be a great offensive tackle. 6'7", 330 pounds. The dude's really, really talented. But do we want to pick him over a guy like Adonai Mitchell? What do you value more? A kind of a project player, a young player? He hasn't played a lot in college, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 7 games, 9 games, 10 games. Not a lot of experience. I don't know if I can pick him in the first round. Or do we go a guy like Ladd McConkey? I want a bigger outside receiver, I think. Adonai Mitchell, 6'4", 196. Let's give Lamar Jackson some weapons. A.D. Mitchell going to the Ravens. All right, this is a place where I like Tyler Guyton a little bit more, going to San Francisco. San Francisco needs some offensive line help. They can coach him up, and this guy's not going to be there much longer. I like Tyler Guyton going to San Francisco. And this leaves my favorite pick is still on the board for the Kansas City Chiefs. Giving them Ladd McConkey along with Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce, Mahomes and company might win 15 games. Because Ladd McConkey doesn't drop anything. He's got some of the best hands I've ever seen. He's not dropping any passes ever. He's going to be a favorite target of Patrick Mahomes, 100%. Boom! All right, NFL fans, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for checking out this mock draft. I think we crushed it, man. I put my GM hat on, and I think a lot of these teams did really good. Some surprises, J.J. McCarthy goes 3 to the Vikings. Malik Neighbors, I like better than Marvin Harrison Jr. Drake May to the Giants, who are over Daniel Jones. There are some nice surprises in this draft. Quinyon Mitchell drops to 13 to the Raiders. And Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix and Sean Payton are a match made in heaven. Let me know, if you look over these picks, where do you want your favorite team to go in this year's draft? Did I do good? Did I give your team a solid pick? Did I do your team justice? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And only 2 weeks away until the NFL draft, I'm going to do a live stream. It's going to be crazy. Peace.